Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Marin. How are you?
I'm great. Happy Friday. What a week. What a week. What a week.
Happy Friday and welcome back from Enterprise Connect. I think I wore the appropriate shirt today, Marin. It was the Catalina wine mixer this week.
Yeah.
The Catalina wine mixer of shows, Marin. Pow!
Oh, I love that movie. It's awesome. Step Brothers. Check it
But
out.
it was an incredible week of announcements. Good morning, everybody. I see the comments coming in. It was an incredible week of announcements. You know, every month we do this blog, Marin, and we actually highlight this blog about what's new in Teams. And it's unbelievable this month because 59 new features inside of Teams. Usually this is like 6, maybe 10 features. How are we going to do this in 10 minutes?
There's no way. It's the biggest ever. If you go through this, it'll take you at least like 25 minutes. Like grab a cup of coffee. Your coffee will be cold by the time you get to the end of the page because there is so much packed in there. It's amazing.
Being able to actually call right out of a website from Teams, the new Teams itself, and frontline workers. There's so much inside of this. But let's hop right into Enterprise Connect and what we actually started to show on stage too. The virtual front desk. We get asked about this a lot, Marin. Show up to an office, and what do you see? Nobody's sitting at the desk.
You're right. Really? And also, it's like about security, too. Like, think about back in the day, or even with COVID. You know, I don't want to be that front line to defense, seeing every single person walk through the door. So this really is a wonderful option. We actually saw it on the Neat Frame, which I think is a beautiful device, really built purposefully for this. I thought it was awesome. There was a lot of excitement around it. And it's just yet another option. Obviously, we're seeing virtual capabilities pop up everywhere, but this was probably the first, I think, of the keynote, but there was so many more after this, right?
So many more after this, and I think it's really responding to what customers sort of brought to us and said, hey, we'd love to see this. It was an important part of the demonstration. Also, Marin, I think if we look back on Enterprise Connect of 2023, what's going to be the thing that everybody remembers about? Well, Cisco was in Microsoft's keynote, and Microsoft was in Cisco's keynote. This is really sort of an earth-shattering moment where two powerhouses in this industry really came together on stage.
That was the headline. It was wonderful to have them as part of ours. I honestly didn't even catch that they were part because I was watching it virtually. But Ilya got on stage with Cisco as well. So for me, this is a moment in time where we can see really all the major platform providers. I wonder really, it gets me thinking like, what's next? If I was some of the other platform providers and seeing that happen, really what's next year going to be? Are we all going to be on stage together? Like, who knows? It'll be great.
It's amazing. And the board is now certified, the Cisco board. So there were announcements around Cisco products, announcements about a whole bunch of different things there. Also, Teams displays, Marin. This really helps people that I think one of the things that I took out of Enterprise Connect, we need a reason for users to go back to the office. And if that reason is that they're going to have better technology inside of the office, this really helps the workflow.
Yeah, and we had hot desking featured within our booth. We were featured in a lot of different booths. I think we had Cisco referenced. We also had D10. We had Yealink. Yealink had a wonderful device. I think that already we announced, I believe, the week before that got certified. But this was really cool. Scanning a QR code and just putting in a password, similar to what I do at home, you know, to like sometimes get into like a Hulu or whatever else. It really brings the best of technology and super simple. I don't want to have to put in, you know, a 20 number long password. I oftentimes don't even remember my password to be able to go in and log in. So this makes it much more seamless.
And my password's like 99 characters long. I can't sit there and type that in. I got things to do. We got to keep this to 10 minutes, Marin. So if we talk about the hot desking feature, we also want to highlight Yealink's Desk Vision was actually certified as well. I don't have one of these myself, but again, going back to the office, I need to outfit my employees with a better work experience, and this really solves that issue.
Yeah, it's got a wireless charger built in. I actually was charging my cell phone on this Enterprise Connect this week. And it has a really cool camera that pops up and pops down. So if you're not using your camera, the camera goes away. Really slick. I personally would really love to have one of these. It was awesome.
And our friends at Yealink did a great job on that. Also, another earth-shattering moment. Why did Microsoft talk about BYOD at Enterprise Connect? And I think it's really important to sort of note, we want everybody to get to Teams Room systems, but we know that there's some other options that are out there, and we want to help customers actually gather all the data of how they're using these meeting rooms. And it's an important sort of category to look at. And I think it's really sort of framing this conversation of where do I want to go? And ultimately, it is a Microsoft Teams room because I walk in and I hit that single touch join. the problems with the BYOD still are sort of seen around this a little bit. We're not solving that. We're just going to give people an idea about how they're using that room.
Yeah, this was like a 2 sentences of the keynote, and I was like, whoa. Like, this is amazing. I think you're going to hear a lot more about BYOD and our approach to it in the coming months. There's not a whole lot of information out there. I'm excited to learn more. But to Jimmy's point, like, this is really a part of the ecosystem of how people solve for video conferencing in spaces. And to that end, really, we ask people questions of like, how many conference rooms do you have and how are people using them? They don't know how to answer that question. And this really does help us address some of those issues.
Yeah, and also, speaking of issues, Marion, Surface Hub 2 is now coming into the Teams Room family.
I love it. And this actually had a great time. We had Chauncey join our team calls last night and yesterday afternoon to kind of go into more detail. Again, I think this is like summer time frame where this is all going to roll out, but wonderful that they're joining our operating system here. Similar to like where we have Android, features are hitting Android, features are hitting Windows, and then its Surface Hub is all different. It feels like things are starting to streamline and come together in one place where we can really talk about features hitting all devices kind of closer together, hopefully.
And 59 new features, it's hard to keep up. And if you've got all these different options that's out there, it's difficult. So another exciting announcement, Microsoft announced with Jabra that they're going to be bringing an Android operating system onto the Jabra bar itself. Really exciting.
Really exciting. And this is one, again, we're just hearing like a first couple of sentences. Again, we're going to hear more. But for me, Microsoft doing our own Android operating system really from a security standpoint is a big deal. I think having Android a lot of times becomes a security question when we're having conversations with IT end users, where this really changes the conversation in some ways for a lot of people. I think this is the first of maybe a lot of devices potentially to end up on this platform. It was a Qualcomm chip, I think, which is the qualifier. So again, more to come. This might not actually realize until fall timeframe, but excited to hear more.
And congratulations to our friends at Jabra who have the first device out there that's going to be having it with their bar. Also, Marin, we talk about how we eased up the conversation of licensing, and I think you're really starting to see the value of Pro with Endpoint Defender for Endpoint actually coming to the Pro license.
This is where last week we talked about it, like all these features are starting to land in Pro, and like really it's basic is basic. You don't get a whole lot in basic. This is one of those things that's been on the list of asks, and we're just checking them off one by one, and this is huge. This was a huge ask at the very top of the list, and check mark, done. We've got it, which is great.
And Android, we just spoke about the Android operating system, but a whole new update to Android. I couldn't even fit it on one page, Marin. I took all that I could, and I put it on this slide. But from opt-in to sharing on HDMI, all the way down to the extending the meeting room reservations, there's a lot of things new on Android.
Yeah, love it. And like I said, I can't even start with one because there's so many. And we love talking about Android every single week. I'm sure we're going to be talking about it in the weeks to come. And we saw so many Android devices sort of walking around the show. There are a lot more coming, which is exciting. Love to see the development here on this platform.
And our friends at Poly introduced the X70, which was now Teams certified for large rooms, Marin. This is an unbelievable feat because remember, certification is not just a rubber stamp where we go out and do things. There are laboratory tests. There are people testing. Everything goes into testing. And to certify an all-in-one solution inside of a bar is nothing short of spectacular. Introduced at the booth with Ilya and Jay through an Enterprise Connect session. Really exciting.
A lot of work probably went into that. So hats off to Poly. I know that from a large room standpoint, that's usually the ones where people are like, hold your breath. There's going to be a lot of configuration going into that space. To have the ability to do that with one single bar at the front of the room. Obviously, we've got the center of table and the console, but this really simplifies things in a really big way.
And with that, Poly also introduced OS v4, which actually updates their Android to Android 10. A whole bunch of things inside of Teams Admin Center to go look at, the G7500 codec, a whole bunch from Poly this week, including even personal devices, Marin. This Voyager, I saw Tom was using it, as something for the seat back entertainment on the plane this week too.
I haven't heard so much buzz around headset device in a while. I'm excited about these. We were talking about the fact that you've got your AirPods, they're white, and these are a bit more professional looking. I love them. And we were talking about the ability on the phone. I got to be able to see Tom's post about how he used it on the plane, but using that little case to be able to plug in and remotely Bluetooth connect, I think that that's awesome.
Yeah,
Great
I really love the case. I love everything. I am with my AirPods, but they are not team certified, Maren.
Yeah.
And this really solves that problem for me. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I need a team certified device.
Yep.
A few upcoming events, Maren. We do this training, the technical, myself and the other PTSs here at Microsoft, we do this training, learning about Teams Rooms, aka.ms, learning about Teams Rooms. And in April, we're going to jump into the power of IntelliFrame. These are technical sessions. You get to ask questions. Maren, it's really a great time. It's a great community of people that come together and talk about things.
Yeah, and so this is one that is not recorded, and it is not in our Teams Rooms Tech Talk on YouTube. And the power of that is there's great conversation that happens there. Like to Jimmy's point, it is a limited audience, so you've got to make sure you sign up and attend it. But if you don't attend that, we, as always, we love to promote it, and you see it scrolling at the bottom. Teams Rooms Tech Talk. We did 10 minutes today. We also had a lot of other sessions this week talking about Enterprise Connect. There was one Teams Fridays that we did on Wednesday. We've got Michael Tressler. We did Tom Arbonaut. We had Martin Bowman there. There's a long form version, but I know you and Michelle did a really great update this week too, talking about Enterprise Connect.
Absolutely. And also we want to remind everybody to go get your badge. And we're talking about going to get your badge because guess what, Maren? We've got a technical boot camp coming.
I'm excited for this. Yes, 4 hours. And this is all of the updates to the technical training. So we've got a technical training boot camp series online, and I believe that's 6 hours. This is a 4-hour update session that'll lead you right into that badge that Jimmy just showed. And I'm encouraging all people to book out a learning day. This is a 4-hour session, one block. Get your team together, get in a room, and really focus, because hopefully the action is you do this boot camp and you go and get your team technically certified.
Yeah, and if you need the link for this, we're going to post this in the Selling Teams Room LinkedIn group, so go there. We'll also post it on the YouTube channel. We'll have a whole bunch of different places. So, Maren, Enterprise Update Connect, not bad, 13 minutes. Michael said we might go 59, but he's got a Teams Friday right after this.
Right.
So I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting us. Maren, welcome back from Enterprise Connect.
Thank
it was
you.
The Catalina Wine Mixer. Have a great weekend,
everybody. Thank you.
Bye.